What's up, y'all? It's MB the Life Coach, your mental health and success coach, and thank you for tuning in to the very first episode of T.I.P.S. Thorough inspiration past surface level. We are going to start our series of questions. The first question that I am going to answer for you all is how to handle discouragement from no support or lack of the amount of support you may feel like you need. We have to understand that everyone will not be as passionate or care about some of the same things that we care about. You cannot let the cares of other people distract you. You also have to understand that it is okay if your support doesn't come from who you feel like your immediate support system should be. Question number 2. How to deal with past hurt and trauma. I actually have 3 points for this. Point number 1 is own your scars. Yes, something happened to you, or some things happened to you. Yes, life may not have happened the way that you wanted it to. We all have those things that we kind of try to lock into our own mental closet and we don't want anyone to find out. You have to own your scars. You cannot allow that thing to have power over you anymore. You gotta release it, own it. Yes, that happened to me. It made me resilient. And that's a lot of what we get from these situations is resilience. So yes, it made you resilient. You gotta own that. Point number 2, forgiveness. So not only do you have to learn how to forgive the people who may have caused that hurt and trauma, you also have to learn how to forgive you. So a lot of times we wind up in situations that we get hurt from, and we have an issue with forgiving ourselves for allowing us to even be in that situation. A lot of times we don't even see all of the transitions or the signs until hindsight. So with that, you gained experience and a lesson that will carry you forward in the most positive way. And then point number 3, intentionally moving forward. You have to say every day, I am moving forward from X, Y, and Z. And whatever qualities or characteristics that situation left with you, you cannot allow those negative characteristics to carry forward. You have to intentionally fight that anger. If somebody does something that's normally a trigger, recognize that trigger and then say, you know what? I'm not even going to respond or react today. So we have made it to our third and final question. How do I learn to love myself genuinely? You have to open up a door of honesty and transparency with yourself. A lot of times it is easy for us to say, you know what, I'm good. And we may not be. You have to be honest with yourself. No, I'm not okay right now, but I will be. Yes, I am hurt by this situation, but I won't be hurt forever. The way that it affected me will not hinder me. So you have to be intentional with those things and being transparent and honest with yourself. The second thing that you have to do is getting to know you thoroughly through uninterrupted time, through take yourself on dates, writing your journal, have quiet time. You have to spend time with yourself intimately and intentionally. You'll learn things about you that you like. You'll learn things that you maybe dislike or things that you don't like as much as you used to. You'll learn things that you may or may not accept anymore. And if you pay attention to the way that a relationship works, the more time you spend with the person, the more you learn to love them or learn that you don't like them. And the great thing about you being you and building that relationship with you, if you realize that you don't like you, you are able to change everything about you that you don't like. My third point, discipline and self-correction. You have to love you enough to be disciplined with yourself and to be able to correct yourself. So a lot of us got that accountability friend. You have to be that person for yourself as well. If disciplining yourself and learning to love you means getting up and going to the gym before you go to work, you have to love you enough to do that. It may not even be the gym. It may be discipline and separating yourself from toxic relationships, not just with significant others, but with family members. Regardless of how you love them, you have to love you enough to learn how to separate yourself respectfully from some of the people that may not even deserve your respect. With the self-correction, you have to hold yourself accountable to that separation. They may violate you in a certain way when you let them too close to you. You have to be honest enough with yourself to be able to separate yourself from those things that may be triggers for you. How they feel about you is not your responsibility, and you have to understand, learn that, and come to terms with it in your journey of self-love. Okay, and then it brings me to my final point, which is affirmation and encouragement. You are responsible for encouraging yourself. Yes, you may have people or things that you can turn to for that encouragement, but you have to be intentional about your affirmations. You have to encourage yourself even when you don't feel motivated. What everybody else tries to pour into you doesn't matter if you're not receptive to it. Thank you for tuning in to the first episode of T.I.P.S, with your mental health and success coach and Be the Life Coach. I appreciate you, and I will see you in my next video.